Welcome back to a new video. This time we are once again looking at Hcmc. I know it has been a while since we looked at Hcmc, but that is because there hasn't really been too much going on with this company, and actually a lot of other companies have had a bit of updates to be given. So I decided that instead of giving an Hcmc update every single day, I'll do it on some other companies and just give infrequent Hcmc updates when I feel it is appropriate. But however, guys, if you do want to see daily updates on Hcmc, do drop me a comment down below. Obviously, they're not going to be big updates, just quick, small, interesting things which I think you guys should know. It won't be anything too big, but I definitely can do it every single day again for you guys if it is something that you like to see. But in this one, I want to be going over a few things which we have been seeing recently. I want to have a look at the price section of Hcmc, a lot of the things which people are thinking behind the company and that sort of stuff, because obviously last Friday we had the latest in the lawsuit. I'm sure you will know what has gone on, but all of that is coming up in this video. Again, not going to be too detailed, but I want to give a few of my opinions on some things, and if you do want to hear my opinion more often, drop me a comment down below, and of course subscribe to this channel, because we do talk about Hcmc quite a bit actually, even if we do not make a video on it every single day. But do remember, again, this is not financial advice and only my personal opinion. Now we're going to jump into the video and look at Hcmc and what we have been seeing most recently. So the biggest news update specifically related to Hcmc, in my opinion, is going to be what happened on September the 10th. Now, September the 10th, we had, the submission to the district judge. You can see that is down here, and this is very good. Now, the reason why this is particularly good is it means that the information is now onto the judge, and clearly we are on to the next stage of the lawsuit. Now, some people are going to try and tell you that this is a very, very big deal, and we're going to have a settlement soon. I definitely hope that we get a settlement soon, of course, but it's not guaranteed. Guys, Hcmc could play out for a very, very long time. And again, I've spoken about this before for months, and I will speak about it in the future. Hcmc is a long-term play, a mid to long-term play. It's definitely not a short-term play, in my opinion. I think, personally, short-term, we could see a bit more of a drop in price, actually, as people do lose interest, but I don't really think it matters. If anything, it allows us to get a better opportunity to average down on Hcmc stock, as of course, when the profit does come in, when we do get the good news, hopefully, that we are anticipating, it means that our gains could potentially be larger from a percentage standpoint. So yes, I can see this one potentially dropping lower as people see this lawsuit news, think it's a very big deal, and then get a bit of a surprise when it takes, longer than they first anticipated. I think a lot of the people that we have with Hcmc right now are diamond hands because, we already have been holding for many, many months. But again, some people are going to be seeing those losses. They're going to be seeing stocks like AMC, GME, and, a few of the actual other short squeeze plays that we have been seeing recently, as you guys will know from the channel, things like SPRT and BBIG. People will be looking at those and be seeing Hcmc, and they may be inclined to sell their positions if they do become impatient. Now again, I hope this doesn't happen, but it is definitely a possibility. So yes, I do think it is possible that in the short term we could have a bit more of a drop on Hcmc. Again, not necessarily a big deal at all. Well, on my screen right now you will be seeing the figures from shortvolumes.com. This is obviously on Hcmc. We can see that Hcmc on the date, which was the 14th of the 9th, which was literally yesterday, I do believe, we are seeing a actual short volume which is significantly lower than the long volume, which is very good. It shows that still more shares are being bought than being shorted, which is good. And again, this doesn't necessarily matter in the short term. However, over the past few months, like I have said before, we are definitely seeing that go down and down and down, the short volume percentage in comparison to the long volume, which is really good. Either way, the volume for yesterday was relatively high according to this, with a volume, well, a long volume at least, of about 1.5 billion. We already know that Hcmc has a lot of shares. It has over 300 billion shares, so seeing 1.5 billion traded in a day isn't the biggest deal, but it isn't too bad nevertheless. Now moving over to here, what we have on Google Trends, when we type in Hcmc stock, we are seeing what we have been seeing now for the past few months. We are seeing sustained searches for the stock. Yes, it is going down from September the 13th up until now, but that is generally speaking how this trend does move. Monday is a very strong day when people are searching for it. Tuesday goes down a little bit, and the same thing happens throughout the week. Sometimes we do see a bit of a spike towards the end of the week, but again, this is just a pattern on what people are searching for when we look at this stock. And we can see today we hit a number up here at the high, which was above 68. So it was about 74. Again, 100 is the highest, where we saw that on the Friday, I believe it was, September the 10th, when we had that latest news on the lawsuit. People were searching for HCMC a lot. They didn't really search for it too much over the weekend, as you would expect. But yeah, going forwards into this week, the interest is sustained, which is very good to see. Now we'll have a look over here at the actual price section of HCMC, and then give a few of my opinions for the mid to long term just before we end the video. So we're going to start off on the simple charts. And again, guys, there isn't really too much to report on in price action. It's been flat today with the barcoding that we have sustained over the past few months. In the past 5 days, we are falling from highs of 0.0007, and in the past month, we are still seeing that price fall from 0.0008 at the highs, if you were wondering. And obviously, you will know by now the 6-month pattern with highs at 0.0024. So a few things that I want to talk about here, but we'll just have a quick look at the technical indicators before we go any further. We'll start this actually on the 5-day chart, and we will pull up the indicators. We'll pull up the moving average for 50 days. We will also pull up the MACD, which should be over here somewhere, and we will also pull up the RSI. So here's the MACD, and we'll pull up the RSI as well, and we'll have a look at what these figures are saying. So we have a few things to read off here, right? We can see on the past month chart, which is where I will look, we are seeing a moving average of 0.0008, and again, this is still falling, as it is a lagging indicator tracking the past 50 days, as you guys have just seen. So yeah, in the past 50 days, the moving average is 0.0008, but we aren't too far from that right now, which is fine. And today's volume, according to Yahoo Finance, is 1.28 billion as well. We are seeing a MACD trend, which is bearish at the moment, but also quite flat, as you would expect, because we do not really have too much action with the stock at the moment. But yes, it definitely is below that line up there, and it is unfortunately bearish. We are seeing an RSI figure of 41. Now this is stable in the 41 range, dipping a little bit lower to the 30s at some points, and a little bit higher to the high 40s at some points as well, but it is basically stable in that 41 level, as you can see over the past month or two, because again, we don't really have too much going on with the share price. Not that it matters, but the indicators are quite flat at the moment, don't really tell us too much, but if you were wondering, that is a reading that we are getting from those. So now let's have a think about the future of Hcmc. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and I try to mention this quite a bit because I think people get confused, the lawsuit is something which could be very good for the company. However, it's not going to play out overnight. It's going to take a very, very long time. I know a lot of people are happy to hold Hcmc for that time. That's fantastic. If you do have the patience, it definitely could work out, but some people do not. And for that reason, in the short term, I could anticipate a price drop. Now, I've had a lot of comments talking about my long-term price predictions for the stock, and I do have a few price predictions for this stock. Don't get me wrong, guys, it's very, very hard to predict where this stock is going because we are obviously waiting on the catalyst of the lawsuit, which could take a very long time. Will investors have interest by then? I think they probably will, but you know, these are all just a few factors which are variable, and they could change the outcome of my price prediction. So I want to give that before I do go any further. Obviously, like I have said at the beginning, I am not a financial advisor, but yeah, when it comes to my price predictions, I am very, torn on this one. I think Hcmc ultimately will do well in the long term. People talk about price targets of 1 cent, 10 cent, 50 cent. Well, I think the 1 cent mark is not impossible at all. You guys will see up here that we have hit highs of 0.003 without much stimulation of the stock at all, so that's completely fine. In the past year, actually, we have hit highs past the 0.005 mark, so literally halfway to a cent. So it is possible for the stock to move under its own weight. A lot of people say it has too many shares to move, and obviously it can move as is shown by here. Now, what I want to speak about in the future is, with this many shares, I do not think we are going to hit a price target of 50 cent or $1. You guys will know that by now. I think most logical people will understand this. But I think it is definitely possible that we could see Hcmc hit 1 cent in the next 2 to 5 years, potentially even longer than that if we look at to the next 7 years. I think it is absolutely possible. Now again, I spoke about this and I'm still a bit ambivalent as to whether I think it can go that high or not, and that is because there are so many factors at play. But I think Hcmc, where it is right now, even at 0.0006, without winning any lawsuits, I personally do think this company is undervalued. I think it should be sat more closer to these, a bit closer to the 0.0010 range. I think that would be a better place for the stock. Personally, I would like to see this one double in price in the next 2 years. I think that is definitely reasonable because I think fundamentally the company really does have what it takes to grow. You know, we are definitely seeing growth in the company already, and it's not like this is a shell of a company. This is a company which already has a store. Well, they already have multiple stores in multiple sectors. They have vitamin stores and they are working on new contracts every single day. Revenue for the company is doing okay. I think going forwards into the future, this should hopefully shine. Now, a lot of people talk about Hcmc stock catching on to Reddit or something like that. If that happens, of course, fundamentals kind of go out the window. But yeah, I think that is definitely possible, you know, if this is sustained. But it is definitely hard to tell which stocks Reddit is going to pick up on in the future. But what I'm trying to say in this video, guys, is I'm still talking about Hcmc. I'm not done talking about it. I think it does have that potential. I think long term, we definitely are going to see good things for this company. Even if they don't win the lawsuit, I think fundamentally in the next 5 to 7 years, they will see shining, you know, a lot of growth, hopefully. But again, this is more of a long-term play in my opinion. Tell me your thoughts down below. I do want to hear them all. And again, if you do want to see that video on Hcmc on a daily basis, make sure to drop me a comment telling me so. See you all soon, guys. Goodbye. So thank you for watching through till the end, but let me tell you about our Discord. So on your screen you will be seeing the N2S Finance Discord. Obviously it is split into multiple sections. Basically at the top we have updates from me and all that kind of good stuff. If you scroll down a bit further we have the main sections where we focus on cryptos, SPACs and other hot stocks including penny stocks, even stable growth stocks as well, and we even have a special AMC GME chat. If you scroll down you can see some research and DD from the community. We also have funny memes and you can see actual contributions from members down here. And again, if you do join us, it is completely free, link is down below. But if you do want to become a Patreon, you will actually get a pink sticker which will be displayed on your name. So your name will come up in pink as mine comes up in red down here, and that will show that you are a Patreon. But other than that, guys, you can join completely for free down below. You do not have to pay anything if you do not want to. Thank you for watching, see you soon.